everybody. Welcome to a winter 2014 SWAT review. My name is Kate, otherwise known as Narataki.
And I'm Alan, otherwise known as Hisui.
We are from ReverseThieves.com. You can go there to get other SWAT reviews for this season, as well as our monthly Speakeasy podcast.
And this time, we are looking at Space Dandy from Studio Bones. And in a big deal, it is both on Funimation.com and Hulu, but you can go on your TV and watch it on Toonami with a simul-dub.
First one, I think, that we've ever gotten, and it feels like it might be setting a trend. There's another show coming out that's also doing it. It's not on TV, but it's going to be simul-dubbed on the net, so it's like the new thing, I guess. But we didn't watch it with the dub. We watched the subtitled version on Hulu, so we can't speak to the dubbed voice acting or anything like that. A lot of people were really excited about this show. It is from Shinichiro Watanabe of Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Kids on the Slope fame. So everybody was like excited to see him return to space. That's where I think everybody fell in love with him, with Cowboy Bebop. So people were very excited about that.
And he's got a really big crew, a lot of people from his older projects, but like when we were looking up the music, Yoko Kanno was on there with like 12 other people and character designs and monster designs and mechanical designs from a whole bunch of...
Yeah, I think they were saying like each episode is going to feature different designs by different, artists, which is a cool idea. It just seems like a lot of new things going on. And it's about this guy named Dandy, and he's kind of like a sleazy, kind of not the smartest dude, and his robot partner and him are traveling through space, and they look for rare species of aliens. And definitely one of the things I loved about the show was all the alien designs. There was a ton in this first episode, and it was just really creative and cool.
I almost feel, and you can argue about this, and if anybody argues about this, but it almost feels like a subversion of what you would expect, because they set it up so it's almost Cowboy Bebop-like. Like, he gets bounties for every unknown alien that he puts into this, like, galactic database. And so it seems like it's going to be Space Dandy has to find an alien every week, and there's a bigger meta plot with this boring...
Like a personal plot, right?
So it's like, you love Cowboy Bebop, so this is going to be Cowboy Bebop. And then by the end of the episode, you are firmly convinced that this is not.
Yeah, because it does start off, it has this nice little intro, which seems like mildly serious, but not too serious. And then it has this great opening, really great. And it does feel in line with that. But I think it shows its personality almost instantly, because Dandy is a very different character than Spike. Like, they aren't related. Like, they are totally different from each other. It has like a little more of like a crass humor to it. And the first half of the episodes, they go to this booby planet, which is basically like Hooters in space. That's pretty much like what it is. It's like, we're going there for work. It's like, we gotta be there.
Because all these weird different aliens comes for weird different alien boobies.
Yeah. Probably totally true. Trying to hit on this girl, and it's like, he's like, thinks a lot of himself, but he's really doesn't present himself that well. He's just like, he's not the coolest dude, okay? I think that's established really quickly. And the first half is him kind of catching this one alien who then teams up with him, which is not spoilers because it's pretty much in the opening that we know that this character is going to become part of the crew. But then there's like this galactic war going on, and they keep saying in the episode, like, yeah, that's like going on, but whatever. So I don't know if we're actually supposed to care about it or not, but I don't. I think that the episode shined more in kind of the wackiness than trying to like have a serious plot to it. And even that was sort of like the evil ship that's tailing them is like a giant Statue of Liberty head that has a ball gag in its mouth. So, I mean, the serious factor is certainly in question.
I mean, and they make this big thing of like this guy in shadows, and he's got like a cyborg eye with the little, you see him, and then by the time they flip back to him, he's got like this silly Uncle Sam hat and just
like a powdered wig, and yeah, it's just like, although his boss, it seems serious, but it's like Ghost Rider in space is his boss.
I was going to say he's Inferno Cop's
Yeah,
dad.
that's good. And then the second half of the episode where I feel like it felt like, okay, it's going to be like these guys are tailing them and now we're going to get to like the real plot, but that totally doesn't happen. And instead they kind of accidentally transport themselves to this other planet that has tons of these huge aliens, and it's just this massive chase scene for the last like 10 minutes, is like really, really nicely done. Some great music in there, and kind of gets almost psychedelic animation at points of it. And then I loved the ending. The ending gets thumbs up. It was very surprising. But it definitely seemed like by the end that this is a episodic show that, beside the fact that we have a new crew member that we got in this episode and now will be appearing subsequently. There's nothing necessarily to connect.
Yeah, it feels... I mean, Kate hasn't watched this, but I've always been a big fan of Galaxy Angel. And it kind of seems like the Galaxy Angel TV show, where it's like, alright, we're tired of this plot line. Let's never mention what happened here ever again. What matters is you were entertained. And next time we'll have an equally fun tale that has absolutely nothing to do with the events and ignores the events of the previous episode.
And I look forward to kind of this wacky journey in space, and I don't mind if it doesn't have some like it's not got Cowboy Bebop's personal revenge. It doesn't have any of that undertone.
It doesn't need gravitas.
I hope it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, I totally don't want it to go that way. I want it to just be this weird like adventure, more adventure than like epic tale, so. I
wonder if they'll do... I know every season of Galaxy Angel, and I remember, I think even Penny and Stocking had like one serious episode out of nowhere, but then it would go back to its like goofball comedy. But I remember near the end, they always had one super serious episode of Galaxy Angel, but I'm kind of wondering if they're going to do that. But like 95% of the episodes are just going to be jokey, which is fine. Oh, before I forget, the show definitely has a distinctly pulp sci-fi feel. I mean, even his ray gun feels like something you'd see out of an old sci-fi serial or one of those old, before the old masters of sci-fi stepped in kind of series.
It like reminded me of those PC games that were like...
The Space
Quest?
Quest?
Sexy. Yeah. Wait, who's the main character of those?
That's Roger Wilcox.
Yes. That's kind of the vibe I got a little bit too.
Because, the Space Quest has that same kind of wacky space adventure, kind of pulling on the old pulp serials and kind of making fun of, like, high-minded science fiction in kind of a lackadaisy kind of slacker manner.
I liked it. I had a lot of fun with the first episode. I'm really curious to see, how the TV audience reacts to it, because it's reaching such a different and diverse audience that way, so I'm curious.
I'm just glad to see that they just didn't go back to like, well, Cowboy Bebop works, so we're going to just do that with just enough changes so people don't notice or, are happy. I feel like they really went in a different direction, even though it's a space venture, so...
I can't imagine Watanabe doing that, like, just his personality and just the way that he's talked about it. Like, it seems like he's like, okay, I did that and I'm done with that, and now it's time to do something else.
I guess I was just a little worried just because so much was riding on this, and there are a lot of people involved. Sometimes I feel like anime companies are like, nope, let's just be safe and give you exactly what you had before and liked.
But... Cowboy Bebop wasn't that big of a hit in Japan, so... Although this definitely seems like they're thinking about both, which we've seen a little bit more of that in the last few years. But this is not a co-production or anything. But it definitely feels like they were thinking about, okay, this is going to be on Western TV and on Japanese TV at the same time, like a mix almost. And I'm going to be interested to see sort of how that grows throughout the season.
So yeah, it's definitely a show to watch, but I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. I think it would be more surprising if we were like, nah, don't watch this. Alright, see you guys next time.